The continual expansion of lentil cropping into low rainfall areas has sparked a rethink in varieties suited to those regions, particularly when it comes to their suitability to sandy soils and herbicide tolerance. Lentil is now the major pulse crop grown in South Australia, but varieties have been traditionally bred to suit established lentil growing areas such as the Yorke Peninsula, Lower Mid-North and Victoria's Wimmera region. With funding from the South Australian Grain Industry Trust, Global Grain Genetics look to change that, with a deeper understanding of how lentils grow in lower rainfall environments and what genetic traits really matter.
Initial findings in the first stage of this project showed two, important understandings. One was that what we call summer rainfall, or rainfall in November through to April, and then on top of growing season rainfall was very important for lentil yield in those environments. And that's often different to what we see in the traditional areas where there wasn't always a link between rainfall and yield in the traditional lentil producing areas. And that actually was a key finding in a way, that it allowed growers perhaps to pick their years with their lentil production in those more difficult environments, because if there was no summer rain, that would mean that the chances of getting an average or higher yield were going to be fairly slim. While if there was some decent summer rainfall, the chances were improved. Another one of the early findings was genetically, we found that what we call pre-flowering biomass, or the amount of growth in a lentil plant prior to flowering, was linked to grain yield in those environments. And again, that was a different finding to what we've seen in the more traditional lentil areas, where there's been little correlation between pre-flowering biomass and grain yield. And that's because of things like we often get too much biomass in lentils in those environments, which leads to disease and premature lodging and flower abortion and things like that.
With these findings established, the breeding program started to take shape. New high vigour lines were developed and tested across the Mallee, Upper Eyre Peninsula and West Coast. The results were encouraging. New lines out-yielded commercial varieties by 10 to 15%, providing better suited options for growers in tough environments. The research has helped boost lentil plantings in low rainfall regions of South Australia from 20,000 hectares to more than 200,000 hectares, which is driven by better varieties, improved weed control and greater confidence in the crop.
Yeah, so in this phase of the project we now have around 5 or 6 years of crosses and early breeding development of germplasm. So we have a large number of lines now which we're keen to get evaluated. So in this new SAGIT project we have a network of 7 trials, and 5 of those are in the low rainfall areas, and then we have 2 comparator sites, one at Kadina on the Yorke Peninsula and one at Horsham in the Victorian Wimmera. The 5 low rainfall sites are located at Pinaroo, Loxton, Butte on the Sandhill and the Upper Yorke Peninsula, and then 2 sites on the Eyre Peninsula, one at Coongwa, which is near Kimber, and one at Currabee, which is west of Ceduna, on a very highly calcareous alkaline soil where lentil production has even reached in the last few years.
As the project continues, lentil growers can look forward to more varieties adapted to low rainfall areas with better soil and herbicide tolerance, as research helps to build a collection of breeding material specifically adapted to these tougher environments.
And the final thing we're doing in this project at this stage is we're segregating populations of material from our elite crosses aimed at low rainfall adaptation, and we're actually growing them in those low rainfall areas and taking single plant selections which hopefully have improved adaptation. So in the short term we're hoping that we can identify a line, and in the long term we're building up a germplasm collection of material which has improved adaptation to keep expanding the lentil production in South Australia.